Hey, what's going on, guys? What's happening? YouTube, you guys have tuned into Rules for Rebels. We got another NFT story for you guys today. This one comes from Gizmodo, and it's titled People Are Shelling Out Six Figures for NFT Rocks. And these are literally just clip art pictures of rocks. Now, I made a video I posted earlier today, I guess depending on when I post this video, either earlier today or yesterday, talking about Adam22 of No Jumper spending $160,000 on an NFT. He's looking at rolling out his own series of NFTs. Apparently, Gary V is in on these NFT rocks. You know, one thing that strikes me as weird. I mean, throughout this whole NFT thing, a couple months ago, I was making NFTs. I was following NFTs fairly closely. Following the news on them and things like that. They don't interest me that much, but anything that's trending, anything you can make money on, has my interest a little bit. But I've kind of fallen out of interest with them. I haven't been following it as much lately. One thing I will say is, from the very start of this, I said you can't have a healthy market when everybody is speculators and there's no end consumer, there's no end buyer. Everybody's just buying these things up, kind of hoping for the greater fool theory that somebody else will pay more for it later on down the line. And now kind of the logic seems to be like everybody seems to be in agreement that owning a picture, owning an image is kind of fucking stupid, right? Like, it's only scratching the surface of the potential that this technology holds. But everybody seems to be wanting to convince themselves that even though these are stupid, because these are some of the earlier projects, there's going to be some historical or collectible value for owning this stupid thing. And that's kind of what Gary Vee is kind of quoted as saying in this. Adam22 kind of said the same thing. He was like, look, he's like, honestly, crypto punks are pretty fucking dumb. He's like, but they're kind of the biggest, avatar type NFT out there right now. And I do think NFTs are going to be big in the future. And that's kind of like why I believe in this NFT as opposed to actually investing in a coin or a platform that you think is going to be kind of the leading platform for buying, selling, and trading NFTs. We saw back in, was it 2015 or 2016, how much crypto cats wound up pumping up the price of Ethereum. But without further ado, let's get into this article. Again, this one comes to us from Gizmodo. People are shelling out six figures for NFT rocks, and you can kind of see the rocks right here. In the world of non-fungible tokens, nothing is off the table. After seeing people ready to pour out ridiculous amounts of cash to own NFTs of farts, cat pictures, and Lindsay Lohan fan art, you might be wondering what absurd shit will find its way onto the blockchain next. And apparently the answer is clip art. If you guys don't remember clip art was like back in the 90s, like, things that you would put on a PowerPoint presentation, like really kind of shitty, I don't even know if you call it art, really shitty images. You might be wondering and apparently the answer is clip art of a rock, that anyone can download for free right here. Now, obviously, if you click that link and follow, you're going to be taken to a free clip art site. You're not actually going to own the NFT. You can just download an image. But what is being sold on the blockchain for the price of a small house? If reading that doesn't make you want to walk into the ocean, then good news. You too can own one of the Ether rocks up for sale right now for the low price of just $272,679, and that cost is only going to keep going up. When the anonymous developer behind this project first rolled out these collectibles in 2017, there were only 100 pet rocks put into circulation. As the site explaining the project points out, this limited run means each new virgin rock gets more and more expensive. They also helpfully added that these virtual rocks don't serve a purpose beyond being able to be bought and sold and giving you a strong sense of pride of being the owner in one of 100 rocks. So yeah, and that's, in the future, I think NFTs will be used to, prove ownership or to solidify ownership of a world or a town or a universe in a video game. Maybe showing that you own a skin. I think gaming's a great place that NFTs can get into in the future. Certain movies and things like that. I think Anthony Hopkins has a movie coming out that's an NFT. Adam22 of No Jumper plans on making like a unique single NFT of each rapper that he has on his podcast. Some band put out NFTs, put out an album as an NFT, but I mean this year it's literally just a rock. There's really no utility behind it. There's no other purpose than owning this rock. Let's see here. Apparently, that pitch was enough to bring crypto collectors on board. 2 weeks ago, angel investor turned crypto personality Gary Vaynerchuk tweeted about Ether Rock as one of the pre-2019 NFT projects to keep an eye on over the next decade. Almost immediately, people began throwing down cash, and their prices skyrocketed. And I just kind of get the feeling. I think there are hot trends and things like that celebrities and influencers get into that they actually like, that they actually believe in, and that actually are going somewhere. But I don't know about you guys. I just get a very scammy feeling when I see like London Real is everything's about NFTs. He's selling NFT courses. I'm sure he's going to eventually put out NFTs if he hasn't done so already. NFTs seem like a way to, I don't even want to say take advantage, but seem like an easier way to profit off of your audience. A couple years ago, a Logan Paul or an Adam 22, they sold merch. And these guys still do sell merch online. They sell t-shirts and hats and things like that. But imagine if you could sell, in the past, these guys might sell 50,000 t-shirts to make $500,000, $500,000. Today, they can put out an NFT and make that, if not even a couple $1,000,000 off of a single NFT. And if they make a series of NFTs, you could just kind of see how the money could stack up. Gary V is trying to hop on this NFT chain. It really just seems like kind of hype and kind of scamminess to me. But a lot of people are making a lot of money off of it. Almost immediately. Okay, so we talked about that. Since Vaynerchuk's tweet went out. Oh, and here's another thing. Do these things really have value, or does this just become kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy? You know what I mean? It's like if Coca-Cola may be a good stock or a bad stock, but if Warren Buffett says that Coca-Cola is a good stock, Coca-Cola is going to rise. If you look at some of these cryptocurrency coins with small market caps, if a big crypto influencer talks about it, somebody like, man, I used to watch a guy a lot who does like the daily crypto news, dude with the glasses. I'm having a total brain fart right now. But if a big crypto influencer talks about a small market cap coin that's easier for the price to be manipulated or moved with some volume, that coin's going to rise. Does that mean that's a good coin? No, it just means that a big influencer with a big audience talked about it, everybody rushed into it, and that coin winds up pumping. I mean, even look at Elon Musk with Dogecoin, or Mark Cuban with Dogecoin. Like, do these NFTs have value? Or does Gary Vee have an audience of 200,000 people, and when he says jump, they say how high, and it causes the price to go up? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Almost immediately be okay. Since Vaynerchuk's tweet went out, transaction records show the price of a single pet rock going from 1.2 ETH, or roughly $3,700, to 32 ETH, roughly $99,000, to 80 ETH, roughly $248,000. Over the past day, buyers have spent more than $664,000 combined on these collectibles. That again, they are literally just slightly tinted versions of the same royalty-free clip art that anybody can download. Let's see, what does this say? Here's a tweet. Rock thread, why I spent $46,300 or 15 ETH for a PNG file of a gray rock, why I think it could end up being the best investments I make since getting into crypto. And really, I think a lot of people don't understand this, but with an NFT, you don't even own the PNG. You own basically a blockchain record that you own a PNG, but you don't even necessarily own the PNG. Different folks have different motivations for buying one of these rocky buddies. One buyer explained in a Twitter thread that their $46,300 purchase was a way to own a bit of NFT history, and it's kind of the same thing that Adam22 said with buying his CryptoPunk. As we get into an age of digital collectibles being one of the earliest forms of art, and the first to do something gives them provenance, and that is valuable, they wrote. The pet rocks present the perfect shock value. It's so stupid that it's perfect. Fate loves irony. And I mean, I guess if you look at like the baseball card market, baseball cards are pretty cool these days. They're putting pieces of jerseys in cards. Players are autographing cards. I had one Babe Ruth card with a piece of his bat in it a while back. But if you look at the earliest baseball cards, they weren't as fancy. They weren't as shiny. But because they were some of the earliest baseball cards, they're worth a ton of money. I think one of the first baseball cards and one of the most valuable baseball cards, I want to say, is what, an Honus Wagner, like tobacco baseball card or something like that, and I think it's worth millions of dollars just because it was one of the earliest ones, and obviously baseball cards have grown into being a huge industry. Another buyer who dropped about $25,000 on his own rock told Motherboard that these buys were either the stupidest or the most incredible decisions of our lives. What do you guys think? Is it the stupidest or the most incredible? Drop a comment down below. Let me know. He added that, well, he thought the concept was dumb at first. FOMO kicked in. the way FOMO tends to, and $25,000 later, he had a tiny piece of NFT history of his own. And I totally get the sentiment. The internet's architecture is doomed to rot from within as time goes on, leaving us all with the job of archiving or buying bits of net history before they're gone for good. But when a piece of history in some low resolution clip art of a rock, you're probably better off saving your money and downloading that thing for free. I haven't really kept up with Crypto Kitties, but do those have value? I mean, Crypto Kitties, as far as I know, was like the first NFT. So you would think if this idea that the historical significance of NFTs is valuable, you would think that Crypto Kitties would still have some value. For all I know, maybe some of the earlier ones and the rarer ones are going for millions of dollars, but it seems like most people have kind of lost interest in those. Let's look at the discussion. It's fucking money laundering, right? Can we stop pretending it's anything else? The only reason people are buying these is because Ether has no actual value. Let's see. I always like reading comments. Let's see here. It's Dutch tulip mania all over again. I'm wondering if this is what happens before the collapse of civilization. Did the Western Roman Empire collapse because the nobility were spending their fortunes on gladiator trading cards, and once the bubble burst, it led to a slump in tax revenues? Were Incas buying NFTs for sacrifice victims? The whole tulip thing is a stupid analogy. I don't mind people saying something's a bubble, but the tulip bubble that people talk about and people love to reference in reference to crypto and Bitcoin didn't even happen the way that people think it did. I can tell you how Beanie Babies didn't turn out. My mother bought those things like crazy, and now every single one of them has been donated to charity because they were worthless. You know what's funny about this? My girlfriend's family was cleaning out their basement the other day, and man, there were tubs and tubs of Beanie Babies. They had Princess Diana's and the tie-dyed Jerry Garcia one, and all these Beanie Babies that were worth $1,800, $3,500, $7,000 back in the '90s, and I mean, you could probably sell 100 of them, and you'd be lucky to get $100 today. I think there's actually an interesting documentary on YouTube that you can watch about people who bought Beanie Babies, like, sunk their retirements into Beanie Babies, sunk their kids' college education funds into Beanie Babies, hoping that it would wind up, making them rich or paying for college. And obviously they wound up turning out to be nothing. I remember I had a neighbor way, way back in the day, kind of in the early days of Upper Deck, baseball cards. And man, this guy's whole basement was like, he would go out and buy like 50 cases, 100 full sets of, the new Upper Deck set of baseball cards. And he thought this was going to be his kid's retirement. And I think even today, Upper Deck overprinted cards. And even today, 20 years later, 30 years later, whatever it is, I bet you those things sell on eBay for less than they initially sold for back in the earlier mid 90s. Man, I wish a giant meteor would have won the last election. There's always been 22. Let's see, giant meteor. They're pet rocks, but rare and expensive. God damn it, why don't I ever think of these things? I'm too damned honest. There's nothing rare about them. There's only 100 of them, completely artificial rarity, of course, like the pet rock. I'll take 8. Let's see. They're not rocks, they're minerals, Marie. That was good. That was the guy from Breaking Bad. Anyhow, let me know what you guys think about this. Let me know what you guys think about NFTs. Drop a comment down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you are not already subscribed to the channel, click that subscribe button down below, ring the bell, and we'll catch you on the next video.